Hi everyone, good evening. Congratulations, Jessica. You go, girl. Nice going, sister. Thanks so much, Dan, for that, and good evening, everyone. I have to say, it's very exciting to be here in a room full of so many fine physical specimens, and Terry McDonald. I am very, very honored and thrilled to be here tonight to celebrate the career of one of the most influential figures of our time. Of course, I'm talking about the new spokesperson for NyQuil. Drew, I know, I'm well aware it is the sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine, but please try to stay away from it before games. Speaking of games, let me take you back to February 7th, 2010. It was Super Bowl Sunday. I had just finished an interview with President Obama, and my team and I had left the White House and made our way through the aftermath of an epic snowstorm to try to get a train back to New York City. We stopped at a sports bar across the street from Union Station to get something to eat, and the game had just started. It was playing on a jumbo screen in the restaurant. I ate my cheeseburger in peace because all eyes were glued on the big star in the room, and that was all anyone cared about for that moment. This night, of course, was about much more than football. It was a new beginning for a city that still desperately needed a second chance, and in a fellow they referred to as Drew Brees, they saw the second coming. Drew, tonight you join a pantheon of extraordinary men and women. Sportsman of the Year is about more, as we've heard tonight, than athletic prowess. It's not about those stadium spotlights. It's about the light that shines in you. And you may not realize it, but you have a lot in common with some of the past winners. In 1980, the US hockey team gave us the miracle on ice. You made a miracle look easy in the Big Easy. Michael Jordan missed over 9,000 shots in his career, but still won 10 NBA scoring titles. You've also proven that the difference between failure and success comes down to sheer grit and perseverance. Arthur Ashe once said, "From what we get, we can make a living. From what we give, however, makes a life." You have given back in ways that cannot be measured in yards, passes, or completions. The man once named Comeback Player of the Year has done so much for the comeback city of the decade. The week before the Super Bowl last year, I had the opportunity, the privilege, to sit down with Drew and his beautiful, wonderful wife, Brittany. Drew told me when they first visited New Orleans, before he signed with the Saints, they drove around the city so they could see firsthand the devastation and destruction Katrina had left in her path. The Superdome had half a roof. The city was barely above water, and cars flipped upside down were floating in people's living rooms. Drew said it was the worst of the worst. Lots of NFL stars, let's face it, lots of ordinary people would have just walked away. But Drew saw an amazing opportunity and some uncanny parallels. He had just had major shoulder surgery, and doctors claimed he had only a 25% chance of a full recovery. What were the chances of New Orleans recovering? Maybe about the same. He described what he said was a mutual gamble. This was the only team that really looked at me and said, "We trust you. We have confidence in you. We believe in you." And sometimes all you need is just for somebody to believe in you in order to be able to accomplish what you never thought you could. It took the Saints 2 decades to have a winning season and more than 40 years to win a Super Bowl. Maybe they just needed someone who believed in them and who they could believe in too. There's a saying in New Orleans, who'd that say they're gonna beat them Saints? I did that pretty well, didn't I? I was kind of nervous about that one. Drew took on the challenge and gave them an answer: nobody. I could not believe I was stuck on Amtrak during the Super Bowl, following the game on Twitter. But halfway between Philly and Trenton, I swear I could almost hear the city of New Orleans in a spectacular reversal of fortune, screaming from the rooftops, their agony replaced by the thrill of victory. And what a thrill it was. I personally found it so exhilarating, not because of Drew Brees, the quarterback, but because of Drew Brees, the man. Drew and Brittany have both become MVPs for their community. The Brees Dream Foundation has raised more than $6 million to help advance cancer research, care for cancer patients, and help rebuild parks, schools, and playgrounds for the children of New Orleans. I visited one of those schools where the kids were planting a garden and showed off their spinach and kale and even rosemary with pride. Drew also knows that if you build it, they will come, even though I'm sort of mixing my sports metaphors here. He's encouraged people to plant their new businesses in the area to help it grow economically. And he doesn't just support entrepreneurship, he is one. Next time you're in New Orleans, you may want to pick up a Club Lulu at his Jimmy John's sandwich shop or a t-shirt from his Bayou Gear clothing company. He's also got an eye on the future. He's joined forces with the Idea Village to help foster young entrepreneurs. Drew said the city of New Orleans saved him at a time when his career and possibly his spirit needed saving. He's called the opportunity to play for the Saints destiny. But Drew, you created your own destiny. Your fearlessness gave a city courage. Your heart gave a city hope. And with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter and the Saints trailing the Colts by just 1 point, completing all 7 of your passes in a 9-play, 59-yard march to a stunning victory, you gave a city reason to believe in itself again. In fact, you gave a reason for all of us to believe. Very simply put, Drew Brees, on and off the field, you kick ass. Congratulations on being the 2010 Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year.